If you love D&D and Critical Role, you're going to love this podcast as I dive into their animated series, The Mighty Nine, their new Campaign 4 gameplay, and much, much more. I'm Yasmin, and you're listening to the Mostly Ridiculous D&D podcast. Synopsis. 3 mysterious warriors infiltrate and steal a 12-sided glowing magical die that was used in a ritual that collects souls. Now 2 kingdoms are at brink of war. A monk is tasked to uncover the theft of the 12-sided die, known as the Beacon, which leads to her own conspiracy rabbit hole of lies and corruption. What terrible secrets will she uncover? Well, we're here to find that out ourselves. Welcome to the welcome to the podcast. My name is Yasmin, and I'm excited to talk about the first episode of The Mighty Nine. This animated series is special to me because this campaign is what got me into D&D. So it's actually really good, and very excited to watch it all animated and see how they bring it to life. So yeah, a few years ago, like, my friend of mine introduced me into D&D through a Live Acquisitions Incorporated show from PAX East, and that was what really introduced me to D&D. After another one, she introduced me was Critical Role, specifically the Search for Grog live show, which got me interested in watching more of their games. So I tried watching a campaign 1, but something about it wasn't clicking with me quite yet. So I just kind of put it off watching it for a couple months. And then COVID hit, and with everyone being in lockdown, I decided to give it another shot. Instead of watching campaign 1, though, which kind of, it didn't start like our typical, like they were already through their campaign because they started from their homebrew and stuff, or from their home campaign, and then just kind of continued it through the cameras, as you all know. So that kind of like not having the real start to really click with the characters and stuff. I was like, okay, I'm not like, I like some of the characters. Grog was my favorite. I liked it, but it just wasn't, something just wasn't sitting with me quite yet. So I took a look and see what they have, like like if they have any other gameplays and stuff. And campaign 2 popped up, so I gave that a shot. And wow, yeah, that campaign was fantastic. I've watched campaign 3 and currently on 4, and still, in my opinion, campaign 2 is the best campaign they've done. And so, like, while watching them, I think what's funny is when I started watching campaign 2, I think it was just under 3 months that I ended up watching every episode they had, which was up to episode 100, because they were also on hiatus until COVID was all through and all that stuff. So I ended up watching 100 episodes with like less than 3 months. Yeah. So yeah, and for those of you who know how long that is, that's crazy. I think, at least I think, because that's my first time really going into D&D, like actually going into watching a gameplay. So 3 months or just under, that's about like 2, sometimes 3 episodes a day I'd be watching it. Yeah. So it kind of what got me through halfway who got me through like the first 3 months of COVID. And one of my favorite characters from here was definitely Jester. I think that's most people's favorites. But Ford as well. I really like Caleb and Caduceus. I think those are my top 4. Not slash Beth was also up there, but again, like yeah, Sam's character was quite funny. I think that was my first time really like getting to see who Sam was as a D&D player. All of them really, but Sam was like really one of the funniest in there. But the character, for some reason, for Travis, really gravitated to. Like I really gravitated to his character. So it was really good to watch all of their dynamics, and I think that's what really was so much fun to watch campaign 2. And all the campaigns really is just their dynamic, their interactions, like how they just play the game together. And I think that's probably what made campaign 2 the best. It's like one of those things that just clicks very well, and you just have like a perfect recipe essentially. I think campaign 2 was like the perfect campaign recipe that they had. It was also, I think, the only non-story driven campaign. It was like an open concept, open world type of play. And I think that's probably what, for the most part, or at least for me, kind of did, like, for me was what probably made it feel more D&D-ish, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if, like, for me as a player, if I really want to stick to a specific like storyline and stick from point A to point Z, you have to follow that kind of thing. The I think, yeah, and I think maybe a lot of people like campaign 2 for that reason, but I'm not sure. Like, if you disagree with me and want to tell me your own reasons, let me know. You are free to comment below, or if you're watching in YouTube, or if you're listening to any of the podcast platforms, feel free to leave a comment. I believe there are comment options there, like on Spotify. So yeah, just let me know. Before even really getting into watching D&D in general, I did have a small D&D group before COVID hit and obviously stopped, but which I played a cleric, and like I think that ended up being my favorite class. So I think that's one of the reasons I gravitated to Jester and Caduceus so much, is because it was, oh, I'm playing the same like class as you and that kind of thing. The whole cleric um stuff, like the things that clerics get compared to others, I think is just more fun to me, and I think that's what gravitated me to cleric. Also, it's like just like Jester and Laura, the forever non-healing cleric. So those jokes of her not healing and stuff, not being the cleric, was just so funny because I'm like, I understand why. And no, if you are playing cleric, you are not the automatic designated healer. Okay, you can play clerics as non-healers as well. Just so you know. Um, all right, so I think maybe we should get into this episode and see. Let's talk about some of the things we saw from this episode and what we liked and didn't like. So the episode starts off with the ritual. It will be a Luxon or the beacon ritual, where apparently to be reborn, you have to die on purpose. On In campaign 2, when Matt described what the beacon is for, I was under the impression that, hey, you die of natural causes, your soul kind of disappears into like just something about the Luxon reincarnates you. But we weren't sure how the beacon was used, unless he did describe that how the beacon is used to do the ritual, and I just forgot, but I'm not sure. Maybe that's something I can do in the future, is do a rewatch of campaign 2 and see what we memory retains and what we missed that maybe might make the campaign 2 even better than what I remember. But anyways, yeah, so I did not know that the beacon just requires you to kind of kill the person to absorb their soul to reborn them, which was kind of what surprised me. I thought it was just like, hey, you died in battle or you died of natural causes. The soul just kind of leaves your body and goes to the nearest beacon or the nearest whatever it was that's supposed to take your soul. But I wasn't really sure. But this gave us this is kind of what clarified it. I'm not sure how I feel about committing murder to justify reincarnation. So that's just my opinion there. And then right after the said moider, there's a big explosion, and there's intruders that are infiltrating the castle or palace, or is it a castle palace? They infiltrated the city where the ritual was being done, and they quickly put it in lockdown. And then out of nowhere, just a whole bunch of murder starts happening. These mysterious figures just start killing everyone around and steal the beacon. Turns out it's Estrid and Eadwul. Wow, that was an interesting introduction to those two characters, because I wasn't sure how the beacon was stolen in the first place and who was involved in it. I guess in the gameplay it was just stated that it was stolen. It wasn't I don't remember if there was any specific or particular person that was named to have stolen the beacon, despite you know, finding out later, spoiler alert, I think Asik being the one that was involved with it. But I don't think there was like a mention of any specific character that went in, stole it, and then, did that. So I think this is a nice tie in of the two characters of Estrid and Edwulf, of introducing them, giving a more backstory to us, the viewer, so that for future storylines. And then the intruders managed to get the beacon, try to escape, do a whole bunch of killing on the way, and then they're almost caught, and then their last kind of effort was to crack open the sky. They crack open the night sky that was encapsulating the whole city or region, I guess, and which revealed the sunlight, which I'm not even sure what kind of, are they night elves? Night elves. Now I'm talking about World of Warcraft. The type of elves, like they don't like the sunlight, so that kind of slowed them down. I'm not entirely. I can't remember what are they, the shadow elves. I'm not sure what the word name is or what they're called. But yeah, I guess. But it was a cool effect that they had that they showed with the whole breaking of the sky, and then all of a sudden a beam of light just kind of shines over everything, and it's just the sun itself. And then they got away. So they make their way to outpost that I guess they had a rendezvous with someone that was supposed to ready horses, and found out that there was no one there. And when they did find someone, the people were also murdered, which got them obviously on edge, and they obviously found out it was a trap. So I'm not sure how the elves knew to go there. Like that's the one thing I'm curious to figure out. Well, if you didn't know that the beacon was going to be stolen, but this all happened all at once, and all this is happening, then how come? Why are the thieves at their rendezvous or outpost that they're supposed to meet at? How come the people that were there already were dispatched? Why? How did they know to? That's what I'm confused about. Like, how did they know that that's where they would go? That's where people were waiting for them, and how did they know that they were involved? So that's what I'm curious about. And also, so if they knew about it to take care of the outpost ahead of time, how did they let three people break into the palace or castle or the area even happen in the first place? So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like one of those things is not matching up. Does that make sense? So I'm just kind of confused about that, unless I'm missing something. So if I'm missing something and something's not making sense to me, and let me know, because I would really like that to make sense. Because I'm just really confused as to why why there was already a planned ambush at an outpost of what seemed to be out of the blue attack, or out of the blue break in and assault to get the beacon. So I just want to know where that really kind of came from. Like how did they know to go there out of all the places and to do it ahead of time? Like if that makes sense. But anyways, spending too much time on that point. So yeah, and when the ambush happens, they get a huge explosion. It was like set off. What, I'm not sure if it was a bomb or some kind of spell or something. We just see from the wide angle distance shot of just an explosion happening, and that's where the scene ends. After the opening credits, or opening, animations, which pretty cool. The sound is pretty cool. The music and everything, it just really brought back a lot of the nostalgia of watching campaign 2, and the feels that the music, the theme song is just so cool. And I hope they have a full, not just like a 10-second, 10-20 second intro soundtrack. I hope they have a full animated version, like opening sequence. After that, we are met or introduced to Caleb, who was in the middle of being mugged by the worst muggers I've ever seen. Yeah, I'm not sure what these muggers are. They like just go. is this just like a one-off thing, or they just saw him and didn't like it, or they just like, is that their job as being muggers? Because they were the worst at their jobs. Like they, they kind of make fun of him a little bit, talk shit, pun intended, throw him into a wagon of shit who smears it on his face and then just scares them off by doing that. And I'm like, kind of, what kind of criminals are these? But it was funny. It was a little funny. It was a little weird and grossed out. But then after he wipes his face, he's looks clean. Caleb does not look dirty in this in the show. He is supposed to be dirty, supposed to look, but he doesn't look dirty to me. Am I the only one missing it? Like, am I the only one who thinks he doesn't look dirty? He looks a little disheveled, but he doesn't look dirty. Like that he had shit on his face, for crying out loud. And yet when he wipes it off, it's like as if he never had shit on himself. Like there's supposed to be smudges, still stuff left over. He hasn't showered or bathed yet, so he should be really dirty. Really, you don't just wipe shit off and then it's just gone. But like, I guess for animation sake, it's easier to do that. But again, he just doesn't look dirty at all. He just looks like a guy who's disheveled, who's been traveling for a while and hasn't had maybe a bath for a couple days, but again, he just doesn't look dirty though. He just looks a little rough. And then while he's trying to, so he's going into this shop that he wants to break into, and he tries to break into it, and then gets scared off by a dog inside, who then runs into Not, or bumps into, and then finds out that Not stole one of his pouches, which started into this mini chase scene with Caleb and Not. And then which I don't know how I feel about the chase scene. I thought I was okay, but I don't know if there was a real like point to it other than maybe introducing the characters to each other. I think, yeah, I think that was the only reason that kind of, that's the only thing that makes sense to me. And then out of nowhere there, I think Not feels pity for Caleb below and then helps him out in exchange for booze, which, yeah, that is one thirsty goblin, and also very, very addicted to alcohol. Yeah, that's a very addicted goblin. So they decide to help each other for each other's own, like, yeah, for its own benefits. And when they break into the shop, they find the shop with so many crates and cages and so many like animals and creatures and all manner of beasts and whatever else just locked up inside. And whatever Caleb's looking for is apparently in this, was it? I don't know what it was. It shit? Did he take an animal's shit from the cage, or was it something else? Because I wasn't. I watched that episode twice, and I'm still not sure. I just keep thinking he just took shit from that animal that was caged in. And of course, they run out of the, what's it called, the shop, after they were caught by the shop owner, who was grabbed promptly by the tentacles that was some kind of kraken, octopus, squid, I'm not sure what, but a bunch of tentacles came out of the door and dragged him back in. Which I have a few questions. Like, what what is this shop? Why does the shop have so many of these animals? Is that legal? Is that legal, or is this an illegal shop? I'm not sure what's happening here. I would just like to know what kind of shop this is. Is this a smuggling? I think it's a creature smuggler shop, or unless it's legal, I'm not sure. So if somebody else knows about that too, or would like to know, just, yeah, comment and let me know what your thoughts are on that as well, because I just don't know. After they run from the store and escape, now the scene cuts from there, and we go into a school classroom where it's being taught by none other than Trent Ikithon. So I'm going to call him Trent Ikithong, Thong, because he is an Ikithong, and the scene just shows what a terrible human being he is. Oh my god. First of all, I have so many questions on this too. I have so many questions on this because one, he has a person tied to an altar, a table, something in the middle of it, like in his classroom as a display. And the person's just tied up and gagged. And nobody says anything about that. Nobody's like, hey, why do you have this furbolg tied up? I think that's a furbolg. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but why do you have this furbolg tied up on this table? And why is he a test subject for the classroom? That doesn't make, like, why is nobody judge? Is this because the school is not really evil? It's just that the Trent is. He's the one that's really like the corrupt one. There's like the as far as I remember, the school in the game wasn't all evil. It was just that Trent was doing things under the table, kind of on school grounds. But none of the kids were like, "Hey, wait a minute, this isn't right. Why do you have this guy tied up?" He didn't really explain anything really. He just explained that you can sedate someone by cutting a nerve or something behind their ear, and which he demonstrated, and then he proceeds to freaking dissect the guy live. He proceeds to skin the guy's chest while he's still alive. And obviously, because the guy sedated him or whatever, the guy that isn't able to express his emotions or whatever, just can't scream or do anything, right? So he's just like really chill about being cut open, which is disgusting. And also, again, nobody questions this. Everybody's just like chill with it, like it happens, or like it's a normal thing or everyday occurrence or something. Like that's crazy. And then Ikithon is interrupted by a mysterious person that we yet to find out the name of. At least I don't think so. I don't have the name written down here. So I don't think I know who that person is. Who informs him that the king is summoning him and needs to talk to him. So then he dismisses the class, and once everybody's out, proceeds to heal the cut behind the furbolg's ear from the sedation or whatever you want to call it. He heals it, bringing the guy's, I guess, pain receptors back, and he feels the whole skin thing all coming up, and then he just screams or tries to because his mouth is muffled, and it just ends on that. That scene just ends there, and I'm like, this is the most fucked up shit I've seen. Well, all episode, but that's crazy. Like, first of all, as a watcher, seeing a villain do that is honestly, as a watcher or a viewer, is fantastic. That's awesome way to introduce someone and show, oh, this guy's a piece of shit. But from a moral and human aspect, I'm like, what the fuck? I felt really uneasy and unnerved watching it, and the fact that it made me feel like that, I'm like, good job, show. That was great. That was great. That was a great nerve or feeling, or what's it called, way of extracting. Like, that was a good way of extracting my feelings about that particular instance or the scene, right? So I thought that was really good how they did that. Disgusting as fuck, but it was a good overall done scene. Now I'm seeing my notes. The girl that came to interrupt him is called Olivia. Olivia, I believe that's it. Yep. So we do know her name. All right, cool. I just had it written down on my notes a little lower. All right. Yeah. So he makes it to the king's office, and that's where I guess war is declared, kind of, or declaration of war, because the queen sent the king a message who asks to return the beacon. They have no idea what what she's talking about. Ikithon obviously manipulates the situation, telling them, hey, it doesn't matter if she thinks we has it or not. She's just going to do it anyways. I think she's just using this as an excuse to attack and start a war and all this. And one of the other people in the room is suspicious of him. I think I know who the character is, but I can't remember the name, what her name is. If you know what her name is, please let me know, because I do not. I don't think they mentioned her name at all either, but I think it's a campaign 1 character, maybe. If I'm wrong, I'm probably wrong, but I'm not sure. So if you know what the character's name is, let me know because it's one of those curious things I want to know. Yeah. So yeah. So to start preparation for war, I guess that's what the tense situation is going on, and then next we go and we meet Bo. Bo's introduction here, I really like because she wasn't one of my favorite characters, but I didn't like hate her either. I think some moments she was kind of boring, but then as the campaign went, she grew on me. So I like her a lot, like later in the campaigns than I do early on. And the way that they introduce her here, very well done. Fantastic. I like the way they did this. Her standard give no shit attitude, tell it like it is, unfiltered mouth, great. And she discovers or is on an expedition to that outpost that had the explosion and comes up to her own conclusion that ends up being very true or mostly true and is just dismissed by her partner. And then she finds these two glowing rock residuums that she keeps one, gives the other to her mentor, boss. I forget what his name is right now. I will in a second. Just let me. Xena. No? Yeah, Xenoth. Her mentor. Is he mentor or just her boss? I think it's just her boss that. Yeah, I don't think he's her mentor. But she gives the residuum to Xenoth, who she follows and finds out he is one corrupt motherfucker, which mostly we knew. But when I watched this, I forgot that he even existed. So I was kind of surprised by it, and I'm glad I was because I'm not gonna remember everything from the campaign, so or all the characters, even no matter how important or secondary they were. But yeah, I was glad. Like, oh, I was surprised by it, and yeah, he's also corrupt and all this stuff, and gives the residuum thing to Olivia. I think is that Olivia. I think it's the same character. I'm not sure now. I believe it's the same character. And then Bo proceeds to chase after Olivia, who I believe failed her stealth check on here because she followed into a trap, which she nearly died fighting in a one-on-one. Well, she did fine in a one-on-one until steroids kicked in with magic, and then she got her butt kicked, and then yeah, nearly died there. Yeah, just before she was about to, pass out, Bo barely survives her death thanks to her new mentor, Dairon, who trains her a little bit and then tasks her on a mission to go find, basically help her with taking down corruption. Essentially, that's the gist of it. We come back to Caleb and Not, who are in the middle of doing a ritual, which looks like is Caleb trying to summon his familiar, which is a cat. Now, I don't know. He successfully summons the cat, which he treats as like an old friend, says hello there, my old friend, or something like that. I'm not sure if he's been with this cat before. Like, it has what's the relationship here? I was under the impression that this was his first time summoning a familiar and his like first time meeting. Or has he met this cat before or had this cat before, and then when he lost his magic or whatever, then the cat disappeared and he's been trying to get it back, which I might think that's what it is, but I'm just not sure. But the circle light or whatever spell diminishes and disappears, and then so does the cat, which gets Caleb extremely depressed, and Not, who was just about to attack Caleb from behind and get that 100,000 gold bounty, stops and just kind of not even sure how to like what it is. Like just kind of feels bad and sees a different side that's like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this. Also, why does Caleb have 100,000 gold bounty? That's huge. Like he went to wizard school, right? So what did he do that caused a $100,000 bounty? That's what I want to know. I don't know if I don't think that was in the campaign. I don't think so. But now I'm not sure what this is about, and I'm curious to find out. I'm sure we'll find out, but it's just one of those things that I'm very curious about, and I want to know now. I don't want to wait. We cut back to Trent Ikithon, where we discover one of the third wheel that was severely hurt in the explosion is lying on the table, and Trent Ikithon puts him out of his misery. And as he does, his soul gets absorbed into the beacon. And now I was like, oh, that does so the beacon. I'm not sure how that works. So does the beacon now just absorb any dead souls that are near it, or was it like faithful, dedicated, like not followers, but like like religious like type of people that believed in the Luxon and that were followers of that were the ones who were permitted to have their souls absorbed and be reincarnated. But apparently, it looks like anyone near the beacon that dies can do so. I don't know if that's a good idea or if it's or what the case is. I'm not sure how I feel about that because it was supposed to be like, this is just the Kryn Dynasty thing, but I don't know. But now it seems like they changed it, or has it always been like this where anybody that dies near it, their souls get sucked inside and you can be reborn? Okay, like I digress. Let's move past that. It was just something that happened, and but like, but it does question me, like, raise the question of how does that actually work? Like, what is it like? Is it just all souls, or good souls, bad souls, or it doesn't matter? Or because apparently, like, obviously, this guy was a bad soul. Maybe from our point of view, I guess he's a bad soul, but he may not have like thought he was a bad person or done it. So maybe it's perspective. I have no idea. So Ikithong looks into the beacon and then I think he sees I think this is cool because I think it's like he looks into the beacon and then sees all kinds of different possibilities, which I think is a like nice little nod to Caleb's moat of possibility. So that's one of the little I think that was an Easter egg that was added to, like, because there were so many things in there that popped up way too quickly that I couldn't keep, you know, that I can't remember now what things popped up. I think there was one where was Ikithang dead or somebody was shown dead. It showed a quick of the group of the Mighty Nine. There's a lot that popped up, and I might have to go back and pause on each of those little scene or small showings that it pops up and take a look because those are a bunch of Easter eggs that I think we should all check if we haven't looked at them already. But anyways, yeah. So that's the pretty much the episode. The episode ends with Yasha. We get introduced to her, where she's surrounded by a bunch of dudes and slaughters the hell out of them and does it with relative ease. Oh my God, the brutality of her is insane. It shows how crazy she is, although she's a peaceful person, but not this. Like right now, she's under the control of Oban, I believe. Sign the glowing tattoo on the back of her neck. Can't wait until we deal with that. What I'm wondering is why is Yasha asking about the beacon? Why is she after that? That's something I want to know. Why is she after the people who stole the beacon? She asked where are the people that stole the beacon, and I want to know why she's after them. Because is she after the beacon itself or the people themselves? Like, I'm not sure, but I'm interested to find out why that happened. Because that I don't think, yeah, in campaign 2, Yasha was never tasked or had anything to do to go after the beacon or the people that stole it, which is another thing that was changed in the animated series compared to the campaign. Like a bunch of things. I think the Estrid and Eadwolf were things that were added as the characters who stole the beacon and were not the ones who did it in the campaign in the gameplay. So yeah, Yasha here is looking for these, and that's something that's added as well. And I think that's fine. I think that's a good way to later introduce her and get her to be like, okay, I'll join you guys because I'm after these people too. So I'll I'll join you guys because we have a common enemy or threat or something. And that's pretty much the episode. I thought it was a good way to start the series, and I cannot wait to see what the rest brings. I am very excited to watch the rest of these episodes, and I will keep making episodes on these, going over them. So let me know if you like this. Me a review if you're on YouTube, like and comment, and let me know what you think. What specific things you want me to like pick up on, talk about, or bring up, or if you have any opinions about certain topics from the series or the campaign, let me know. I will start covering the campaign 4 soon. I just this is all new. This is just the first episode. I got so excited because I'm like, campaign 4 was so much fun to watch so far. We're on how many episodes now? 7. And I was just so excited, and I'm like, I need to talk to people about this. I need to talk about this. I need to express my feelings about this. And I'm like, you know what? It's a good idea. Maybe I should do a podcast about it and see how everybody else feels about it as well. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to share my feelings about the campaign, about the animated series, go over that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that and continue to enjoy it. And I will see you in the next episode.